Hey guys, my name is Caitlin, and today I'm going to give you my top 5 resources for parenting. There is so much information available on this subject, and moms, in my opinion, are the most vulnerable people on the planet. That being said, if something that you're told or that you read does not resonate with you, just don't apply it. Don't follow it. Parenting is first and foremost a relationship between you and your baby. Any healthy relationship relies on you being a confident, happy person with who you are, just being completely yourself. So now I'm going to give you my top 5 favorites. My number 1 book recommendation is Roslyn Ross's book, A Theory of Objectivist Parenting. This book is my absolute favorite because it completely changed my outlook on parenting and relationships, and it made me so much more self-aware as a person in general. I'm going to just read the first page, and it's also what's on the back. She says, human beings can relate to one another with either mutual respect and freedom or mutual attempts to control and force. Objectivists idealize the former. Most of America practices the latter. Though objectivists are fundamentally against relating to their fellow human beings with various methods of control, bribery, threats, manipulation, slavery, many do not hesitate to relate in that way to the young human beings we temporarily refer to as children. Ayn Rand told me in her books that if I ever found a contradiction, I needed to check my premises. That is Roslyn Ross. The main point of this book is to create a parenting philosophy. Well, she has created a parenting philosophy in which your child-parent relationship is based on freedom, respect, and love. Mutual respect, establishing your needs and recognizing the needs of your child as well, like you would do with a very, very close friend, a coworker, your spouse, etc. He says, in this book, I will explain why it is that controlled children do not tend to grow into free adults. Then I will explain the other way to raise children. My theory of objectivist parenting, a way of parenting that is entirely consistent with objectivist ethics. So she believes that when you do establish this relationship of freedom, of voicing your needs and hearing the needs of your kids, you end up developing a really, really close connection to your children in which they trust you, you trust them, and harmony ensues. She also has a really amazing blog that she updates pretty frequently. It's always up to date. She'll cover things from top to bottom, everything that's in her book, as well as just everyday topics. She never ceases to amaze me because she is so thorough in her research. Her point of view is never biased. She does have an objectivist standpoint. I actually think that keeps her very grounded and open to new ideas, new perspectives, and she never disappoints me. The last thing I want to mention about Roslyn's book is that she has a plethora of resources listed in the back for your entire parenting journey, from the time that you just think, I want to have a baby. She has a list of her top 10 books to read on, contemplating parenthood. She obviously has 10 favorites for if you have a baby, 10 for if you have a toddler, for if you have a preteen or teenager, and then a young adult. She did not skimp on any details. I've read over 20 of the books that she recommended, and all of them gave me new insight, new information, and once again, a new perspective. My second resource that I'm going to recommend is janetlansbury.com. Elevating Childcare. It's kind of another blog style website. I use it almost every day, honestly. She has, kind of like Roslyn, a respect-based parenting approach. She definitely focuses on creating a loving, respectful parent-child relationship, which is obviously my goal. Janet also wrote 2 books, No Bad Kids and Elevating Childcare. I have not read Elevating Childcare, but I plan to in the next week, actually. Janet was an actress model for a really long time. And when she became a mom, she was super inspired by child education, but felt that nothing really suited her needs and her particular style. Kind of how I was feeling, and maybe that's how you're feeling as well. She found Magda Gerber and the RIE parenting approach, which I'll talk a little bit more about because I'm going to recommend one of Magda's books. She worked with Magda Gerber and has never looked back, so all of her information is once again about respectful parenting. Her website's set up sort of like an email from a client and then her response, including a response from maybe somebody who's an expert on the subject and some scientific evidence. I love that. I love whenever there's real scientific proof behind an idea or an opinion. If you're somebody like that as well, you're going to really, really love all of the resources I give you today. The thing I love most about Janet, Roslyn, Magda, all these people that I'm going to talk about today is that they really simplify what it means to be a mom or a dad. It's not about controlling your baby and to make them the most well-behaved citizen. It's more like your baby will naturally be well-behaved if you treat them like a normal person and you don't try to control them, you don't try to force things on them, because they'll naturally be able to be themselves and explore things on their own terms and grow on their own terms, which will only create a trusting, loving bond between the two of you. On Janet's website, I found that every answer or every suggestion for every problem that parents face is almost common sense, and it's so sad that we don't naturally respond to the difficulties and challenges that arise during parenting this way. But it's great that I have a resource that I can look at every day, because I do tend to read an article or more every single day from Janet's website, and every time I'm like, yes, that makes so much sense to me, and that brings me so much clarity. So hopefully you guys will really enjoy her website as well. My third resource is another book, and this one is by Magda Gerber, and this is the woman that I talked about when I was talking about Janet Lansbury. She's like the OG of respectful parenting. She's amazing. Oh, and this book is called Dear Parent, Caring for Infants with Respect. Here's Magda. She was super cute. She just looks like she was good with kids, right? So I'm just going to introduce the book to you kind of like I did with Roslyn's. First of all, in the contents you have so much information. This is a book that I literally look at on a weekly basis. I love her approach so much that I can literally read this over and over again. Contents, you've got what RIE is, resources for infant educarers, and she coined the term educarer instead of educator because she thinks you need to educate while you care and care while you educate. She addresses a lot of things that you're going to experience within the first weeks at home, how to implement educaring or RIE in your daily life with the baby, how to discipline with this RIE approach, how to apply RIE to a growing child, so when they become a toddler, how to apply RIE to being a parent that's working. She speaks out on basic issues here, which I love this one particular part of this book because she addresses trends and fads in childcare. The last section where RIE parents tell their stories. A basic example of RIE parenting is not picking up your baby without telling them beforehand, talking directly to your baby, not at them or over them, and lastly, waiting for an actual response from your baby. This way you create real communication from the very beginning, and a lot of people think that an infant has like zero feelings or thoughts, and it's so far from the truth. In fact, once again, it's scientifically proven that babies have just as many, if not more, thoughts, perspectives, and feelings as adults. So we have to respect those thoughts, feelings, and perspectives by really properly communicating with our kids, and this book will show you the way. My fourth suggestion is The Art of Living Consciously by Nathaniel Branden. This book isn't a parenting book per se, but he does have a chapter. Let's see here. So chapter 4, he has conscious parenting. Once again, it was a really eye-opening experience for me to read this book, not just because of the parenting portion, but the entire book I think is important for every person, even if you never want to see a baby in your life, let alone have one. This is such a great book to read. I would highly recommend it to everybody. And the reason is it's all about living consciously. This book is all about being self-aware. I have found in my own personal life that as a mom, and in general, living with another person and sharing my space and my time and my effort, it is so important to be conscious of myself and of others. I couldn't be a good partner to Ben if I wasn't living consciously, and I couldn't possibly be a decent mom if I wasn't also living consciously. That means really, really being aware of my actions, my words, and the actions and words of others. Hey, bye. Hey. Hey, bye. Okay. Hey. How are you, sweetie? Okay. This book has really changed my productivity and my relationships in general, and I'm very grateful for this as well. This is a pretty cut and dry quote from his parenting portion of this book. And it says, conscious relationships, and then here's what he has to say. One of the ways we convey respect for another human being is through the consciousness we bring to the encounter. That is, through seeing, hearing, and responding in a way that allows the other individual to feel understood. I think there's so much truth to that, and being conscious of yourself and other people, to me, seems like the truest form of compassion. And what better way to parent your child? My last recommendation is not a book at all. It doesn't pertain to parenting, because now that you have those resources, you're going to be like snowballing. Just from finding Roslyn's book alone, I read so many new books that I would have never even heard of. I'm so sorry guys if this bothers you, but I think it's extremely sweet that he's talking so much. Do you need me? I hear you yelling. Are you starting to get tired? Hey, I'm gonna finish my video. I'm almost done. Okay. So, number 5. Hey, can I finish? Donovan, what did I found that... Excuse me. Hey. So my last suggestion is not necessarily parenting based, but I have found as a mom that the better I take care of myself, the better mom I am throughout the day. Come on, man. Hey, can I pick you up, please? I want to pick him up, but I know he's happy like that. This is the struggle of Rye. My last recommendation is this YouTube channel. I really, really like her energy and her spirit, and she teaches all about really healthy, raw eating, and I just really like her. And I think one of the most overlooked things about being a mom is self-care. So that's all I have to say about that. Check out her channel and take care of yourself. That's it for my top 5. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe and let me know what you want to see in the comments. Gotcha. Bye guys.